I'm Kat Kramer, and I'm here with James Haven, the writer, director, and creator of Court of Conscience. Now, James, this is your directorial debut.
Correct.
And can you talk a little bit about what made you choose this topic and why you felt the need to explore these issues in a 20-minute short?
Well, what made me really focus on the topic is because, as we know in our business, the film business, a lot of it's life imitating art. And for me, this is much more of art imitating life, meaning that basically I really want to see this kind of accountability at the highest level. And so I wanted to see it. That was the original concept. I wanted to see this conversation. I wanted to see it, play out. And that's why I made the film. And then what was amazing is, and it's in the description of the piece, I went to look up courtofconscience.com and see if it was available. And they literally had this 17th century concept, which is the narration that Anton says in the beginning of the movie, which was like, oh my gosh, this is the movie I wrote. And now this 17th century concept is actually playing out in the words on the screen. So it was kind of like, oh my gosh, this is destiny. So that's how it all came together.
Yeah, I believe in that.
Yeah.
Now, you worked with Anton, and this is his final appearance.
Yes.
Had you always wanted to work with him, or was he drawn to the subject himself?
Well,
how did it come about?
Yeah, I've been a fan of Anton's for years. The first thing that really just knocked me out was Alpha Dog. When I saw him in Alpha Dog, I was like, that's it. That's like the greatest, young actor of his generation. And so what happened was I literally went to him with it, and he said yes, like immediately. Like it was just instantaneous. It was just, he read it one night and he said yes. Yeah, and yeah.
Definitely have goosebumps.
Yes.
Now, you're working with your father, and obviously it's not that he's not used to tackling, controversial roles, but did you write it for him, or was it just something that and then he looked at it? How did you?
No, I didn't write it for him, but when I was thinking of casting for it, I really couldn't think of anybody else that could do the layers the piece required. I just was like, this is a very controversial topic, but the way the piece unfolds, it's like there's these layers of that performance, specifically of the Cardinal, and I was like, he's one of very few that can do this.
Agreed.
So
yeah.
I just said, let's go for it. Yeah.
Now, the use of the music was so unique.
Yes.
How did that come about? Just strictly from as a filmmaker, the composer, because the music my dad taught me is always so important.
Yeah, your dad, amazing. Yeah, Stanley. Basically, Aaron Zigman, great composer, one of his most famous pieces was The Notebook, so that's what put him on the map, I guess, for the public. But I had a friend who knew Aaron and just said he has to watch this piece, and I showed it to him. And Aaron's amazing. I mean, I don't know if you've ever worked with him or anybody you know's worked with him, but he just wants you to talk about. Because I said, I can really tell you what I'm feeling, Aaron. I want this piece to be. And he just lets you run. Like, you just start to describe the entire piece. Like, I'll give you one insight type thing. For example, there's these little strokes in the film of where the piano just kicks in. And very specifically, that's the children. Those little moments of the piano. And very powerful. And Aaron just heard me talking about what the film and the underlaying and the subtext and all that. And he hit it. I mean, I've heard the score. He played it, which was amazing. Of course, I'm sure you've experienced this too. Many times where you have a composer or a live, person playing the music for something while they're watching the piece. So I'm watching the piece while he's playing the music entirely out as I'm watching it live for the first time, and I literally had no notes. I just went, "That's perfect," and I was overwhelmed with emotion as well as he did it. Yeah.
Now, what are your plans for the film, being a 20-minute short?
Sure.
And this is the premiere. I mean, this is with media and the industry and activists and students.
Absolutely.
And also, what do you want people to take away? Either those that have had experience with child abuse, either been victims or survivors, or just, parents or just anyone looking at it. What do you really want them to, what emotion besides the obvious ones, but what would you like them to do in terms of taking action?
Absolutely. I mean, this is something we'll talk about later in the Q&A as well, but I want this recorded as well, so it's for the world to see. I want them to be empowered. It's as simple as that. Not to give away the whole film, but you have this priest who goes and has a conversation with a cardinal. And in that world, you'd almost never see that happen. It'd almost be impossible for him to get that meeting. It's almost like, no, we're not going to talk to you. No, we're not going to, address this. No, we're not going to whatever. So for me, it's very much an empowerment type film that says you have the right to take these things on. If you're a student at a college, you could go over every topic, but you could say the people, we the people, which is of course the American concept, but that's in every field. In a college campus, the students are the university. They're the university. In a congregation, they are the people of the church. They are the power of the church. So it's pretty much just like realize that you have the power to make a difference in this world, not just looking for other leaders or other people to do it for you. You can do it. I mean, one quick analogy I give to a lot of people when they ask me this question, as I say, after you watch my movie especially, is I always say, if there was a mother, and there always is, who goes to a church every Sunday, and she knows everybody. She knows when they do the bingo, she knows, obviously, potlucks, all that stuff. But if she were to go to the director of the church and just say, I'm just curious, what is your policy at this church to protect children? If they say, well, we don't actually have, I mean, obviously we don't talk, but we don't have a policy. But if someone were to say, well, you should have a policy, what happens in that moment is so powerful, because the person who knows everybody in the church is talking to the director of the church, asking, do you have a policy? They will have a policy very soon. And that's what I'm saying. That's the empowerment. That's what I'm saying. So all of us can be the empowerment that we want to see in the world and the leaders that we want to see in the world. Yeah.
Now, Anton sadly left us almost a year to the date.
Yeah,
I think
it's coming up just a little bit. Mm-hmm.
And he had a chance to see the film.
He did have a chance. He did have a chance. Yeah. It was very powerful to have that conversation about the piece, and I cherish it to this day. Yeah.
Are you planning to screen this in universities and schools? I mean, is that something you'd like to
I
do?
have a lot of different thoughts on this. I mean, there's a company specifically that got behind like Bat Kid, the one that Make-A-Wish and all that. I've been in touch with them. I do have a goal of making it, and again, when I say free, I mean really, truly free. I want it for everybody to see in the world. It's not one of those things you have to pay to see. We're talking about how to get it out there and what's the best approach to do that in the next couple months. But what I want the piece to be, as I've said before just a little bit, is just I want it to be a conversation starter that empowers people to realize that, in this film, because the word reverend or reverence, there's so much reverence sometimes for people of power, but when people in power are not doing good, why are you having reverence for them? It's just such a weird thing. Like, no reverence is desired, for that. You should be calling them out. So I just hope it empowers them.
They have to be held accountable.
That's it. It's just accountability. That's what the movie's about. The movie's purely about accountability. And, because you've seen the film, so you know where I'm going here, the book, the words that are used, the answer is right there. It's been around for thousands of years. It's not like a new concept of how to have morality for protecting children. The morality for protecting children is right there in the words, and they're as clear as day. As clear as day, And
you're working a bit on the initiatives, or you are speaking out about having initiatives, and what's the reaction been?
Well, what's been amazing, and we'll talk about this more in the Q&A and stuff like this, but I've been very blessed in the last few months and years to really learn so much about something we'll talk about later, but adverse childhood experiences, and where these things that happen to us, like when you bring up child abuse or topics a lot of people are very difficult to want to converse in, what they don't realize is that you don't want to talk about that specific topic. But what they don't realize is that that specific topic will affect you in other ways the rest of your life. So if someone said, if these certain things happen to you, you have a very almost certainty to be a drug user, or almost certainty to be something else, they don't put the two together. So someone will say, well, he's a drug user. And you go, no, that's the effect of something that's already happened to them that they're trying to drown out or whatever. So as a society, if we really want a healthier society, as I said, you go back to adverse childhood experiences and you try to prevent them, you're going to have a much healthier society. And one of my favorite dreams is that all pediatricians, at some point, they kind of add a new, class, if you will, or a new program to teach them about, and there's a woman later today, Michelle Shores, that can speak about this, but parents are now being taught from this program that I help save, they're being taught what to look for now. So if a pediatrician and a parent put that together, we're both taught what to look for, there's no way it would get pushed under the rug. It'd be impossible. They'd be like, something's going on with this child. So we're not going to ignore it. So that's my dream, is to have the medical community take it on, They've already done the research in the medical community. Now just other doctors, pediatricians taking it on, parents taking it on, empowering other people to take it on, and caregivers and whatnot, foster care system, and then just to have a healthier society. So yes, and then back to initiatives. Yes, I mean, my dream is, I know we have a brand new president, but at some point, I've already worked with the former administration on things for Native youth who have, some of the highest numbers of, issues that we're talking about. We've succeeded at addressing those things. So I already have a precedent setting with the former administration. And I look forward to this next administration, whether it's in the next couple months, which would be amazing, or in the next year or two, to really address some of these concerns. And in the end, it'll save the government a lot of money because all those effects cost so much more when you don't focus on the cause.
Well, one last question, because we have a lot to
Yes.
cover in the panel and Q&A.
Yes, can't wait.
And also open it up to the audience.
Can't wait.
Have you ever had people obviously see the film that were abused and had never told anyone or had blocked it out, come to you and say, thank you for making this, thank you for
Oh, absolutely.
bringing this to light?
Oh, absolutely.
And hopefully today there'll be some.
Oh, absolutely. They're part of the study, and I've had many people see the film do this. You said the magic word in the most disturbing sense, which is blocked it out. There are so many people that just think, you look back, nope, I have no memory of anything. And one of the things I've talked about is that there's this hypnosis that was done for this one woman who kept having these dreams of shadows in her life. And then finally, after hypnosis, the shadows became a face and became something else. And my point is that many people have either done what I just described to find out if there is something real to it, and many people who they've started to just think back in their life of things that at first seemed not normal, but definitely not abuse in their mind. And then after seeing the film and after having conversation, they start to go, wait a minute. And so they're starting to go there. So it might take a while for them to completely, but they're starting to go there. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much.